I wake up in a strange place I don't recognize. My head is spinning, and I can't for the life of me remember how I got here, or what even happened before I went unconscious. I felt a sense of dread suddenly wash over me. Something just didn't feel right about this place. I began to pick myself off the ground slowly, and took a look all around me. This place was strange in itself. Everything was still. Everything was still. There was no breeze, or birds, or even the crunch of the grass I walked on. My heart was racing in my chest, but I couldn't hear or feel it, as though it wasn't even there. But I knew it was all the same, pounding. It made my heart pound even harder. I felt numb. There was no wind, but I felt cold to the bone. In the distance, I could see what looked to be a medium-sized rock surrounded by an eerie glow. Heading towards it, I had only travelled a few feet before I froze. To the corner of my eye, I saw there, on a small hill in the distance, a dark figure, but I could see his sinister grin and red glowing eyes clear as day. I was stuck there in a stare-off with him. The longer I stared, the more the feeling of unease grew inside of me. I was not aware that my hearing had begun to return until my ears were ringing. The only sound I could hear was static, but it was so loud. Through the static, the sound in the distance began to grow louder. A strange chirping broke my stare with the glowing red eyes and turned around. Behind me, a single mannequin came into view out of the darkness until an eerie wave followed, streaming towards me. I took off running, but every few feet more of them appeared. I ran all over the place trying to get away from the terrifying creatures, but I could always hear them close behind me, no matter how fast I ran. I tried focusing on the sound of the grass crunching under my speeding feet, but that chirping continued to invade my ears. I turned again, hopelessly, but this time I saw a glow in the distance. I didn't know what good it would do to me, but it still gave me some hope, so I pushed my exhausted body further and ran towards it. I had almost reached it when more mannequins came raining down in front of it, so I quickly turned away. I cursed until I saw another light in the distance. I just had to reach it. I was so close to it this time, I could actually see it this time. I saw the tombstone. The smile that had slowly begun to form on my face quickly fell. As I ran closer towards it, a voice broke through. It was a low chuckle, followed by a deep, ominous voice. "We don't get many visitors here." I ran past the tombstone and continued running. Running through every turn led to more mannequins, and I was running out of ways to turn. I ran past other tombstones, and each time was too fast for me to get a good look at them. But now you're here. Another tombstone. Will make you feel right at home. And another. I stopped dead in my tracks. There, standing only a few feet away from me, was the dark figure from before. I noticed that it was suddenly quiet once again. I looked around me. Where had all the mannequins gone? I turned my gaze to the man before me, and though his eyes no longer glowed, they still bore into me with that wicked grin still plastered on his face. My breath began to quicken. Welcome to Raspy Hill. The noise came back and I turned in time to only see the flood of mannequins before they came and buried me alive. I felt myself being dragged across the ground towards an illuminated area. I was finally able to see for a second before I was thrown down a hole. My back hit a solid surface. The light allowed me to see that it was wood, and on top of that, a coffin. Panic consumed me as I looked back up to the surface to see that figure again as the lid began to slowly slide shut.